Kendall, welcome to ResWell Radio. I'm just kidding. It's not a thing.
Thank you for having me.
I'm excited to chat with you because it's really interesting. Over the years of being at ResWell Health, we have worked with a couple of fusion kids,
Mhm.
and as we were working with these kids, we got to learn a lot about some of the classes they're taking because they were sharing with us what kind of classes they're taking, and the entire time, I mean, I'm a parent, so I was like, this sounds like a dream school, like individualized teaching. Like, I mean, I know a lot about um, the methodology and the credo and the vision that really drives fusion, but I would love for you just to share, for you personally,
Mhm.
what was it like when you discovered fusion, and what was it that actually inspired you to join the team in the first place?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think for me, I too was sort of in disbelief of this one-to-one model. I have this background in higher education, but in terms of my own education, I went to public school and I had lots of other kids in my class, and I just hadn't considered that this was an option for students and an option that was accredited and would transfer credits and would prepare students for post secondary goals. So I actually came on board after learning about Fusion from one of my own staff members at the school I was working for. She also was working at Fusion. And I have always worked personally in more kind of untraditional education, progressive
Mm,
ed. I've worked with language learners, I've worked with different types of learners. And so I was super interested in this model as a real believer that the traditional education system is just not the right fit for every kid or every adult. And so I was super intrigued by the model itself.
it's actually really interesting coming to the facility and being able to see how it all works and the individualization, how you guys customize really the experience for every student, but
Mhm.
also how you address challenges as they come up. Some of them can
Mhm.
be social, some of them can be emotional, as well as
Mhm.
academic. What is it that makes Fusion really unique in that sense, in terms of your
Mhm.
approach?
Yeah, I think the personalization from the aspect of curriculum, behaviors, social emotional development, all of that is super tailored to each kid. And so the way that we're managing maybe a student who is dysregulated at school might be completely different than another student who's also dysregulated at school. We're very lucky because we really get to work in a systems approach with both the parents and also the support teams of that student outside of school. And so we meet with their mental health professionals that support them, their ed therapists, their ABAs, if that's who they're working with, and we can really find a collaborative approach that works for that student. We want to be consistent with each student, and
Mm,
every student who comes to Fusion has super different needs.
mm,
And so being able to work as a village to support each student, it is super effective, and it really helps with that customization piece. All the way from, how do we work with a student who's dysregulated to what's the phone policy for each student, all of that
mm.
stuff is individualized.
Yeah, and I get that sense from everything I've seen, everything you've shared, but also the story that the students share with us. I'm asking this next question purely out of curiosity, really. I mean, I would love to know, speaking of our collaboration, what initially was that spark that inspired Fusion, all of you to reach out to us in the first place?
Totally. So I have visited you all a couple of times, and
Hmm.
for a couple of different reasons. Obviously, we collaborate with mental health support in the community because we don't have any in-house therapeutic support, and so we want to be able to make those recommendations to families who are in need of that. But in particular, when I visited your facility and I saw the exercise space, I was super excited about it. I'm a huge believer in just how movement and exercise can positively impact our nervous systems and our mental health. And so
Mm,
um, for myself, I was like, this would be such a cool option.
Yeah,
But then
it's
I
open.
started,
We're open.
yeah,
Come join
might be
us,
getting
Kendall.
another sign up. But for, for our kiddos, we do have requirements for graduation. And one of the options they can choose is PE. And so at some of our spaces, our fusion spaces, we have opportunity for them to take that at fusion, but at others we don't. And so at our campus closest to you, our Pasadena downtown campus, I
Mm,
thought about that collaboration in particular. Wouldn't it be great if they could do sort of this therapeutic
mm.
fitness opportunity and then also be able to transfer those credits with us? A lot of our students and families are really interested in how can they socialize even outside of the school setting? How can they get that physical activity? And so it just seemed like a really exciting opportunity to collaborate.
Thank you for honestly sharing that, because it's,
Mhm.
I think what was really special for us coming to visit you guys was sitting in that room, learning and chatting with some of the teachers there. I was really inspired by the amount of cohesion in terms of vision
Mhm.
and the way you approach education. Like, and I think that's very, that echoes really what we do at ResWell Plus and at
Mhm.
ResWell Health. So my final question for you is there a story that comes to mind, or maybe a student whose name we
Mhm.
won't mention,
Mhm.
when you think about this collaboration between Fusion and ResWell Plus, that makes you think, okay, this is the reason why this collaboration exists.
Mhm. Yes, there is. We had a student this past year at one of our campuses come in, and he definitely initially struggled with some just socialization, social cues, had some difficult interactions in his previous schooling environments, and struggled at the beginning. He joined ultimately our improv club here at Fusion. And I thought that was pretty amazing and brave. Improv is
Yeah,
difficult for
that
anyone.
terrifies me.
Yes.
It's like my worst nightmare.
And me too. Debilitating stage fright I have. But ultimately, he ended up performing with his troupe at our spring showcase. And
Wow.
the little skit that they did was about a zoo, breaking into a zoo. And this particular this particular student is very knowledgeable and engaged by animals. So it was like the perfect fit. And he just managed to get in the very last line of the show, and everyone in the audience just burst into laughter. And I think it just shows, first of all, a club like that sort of activates different skill sets, really
Mm,
helped him with his social cues and understanding his social environment. And so I think these sorts of alternative types of opportunities like that, like what you're doing at ResWell Plus, they
mm,
just motivate students in a new way and sort of bring up skill sets that students don't even know they have themselves, and also just kind of regulate the system and the brain in a way that
mm,
students kind of build that confidence. I can see a lot of confidence building coming from your program as well. When
mm.
students do well in outside settings like yours, that really transfers into our setting and vice versa.
Yeah.
I think that student in particular would love to, join a group at your ResWell Plus location. I think he would thrive
That
there.
that means the world. And actually, I'll end on this note, which is we do have a kiddo who, and this is why I love this collaboration, because now we can share some of these stories. He
Mhm.
works with Coach Katie, really big into magic.
Mhm.
And what's been amazing to see as an alum of Fusion
Yeah.
is how, because of what you guys have nurtured and fostered for these kiddos and the way you've developed them as they step into young adulthood, they're now exploring their interests with a lot more courage. But some of
Totally.
them, sometimes they will come in with like the hoodies, you know,
Mhm.
and they're still blossoming, right? They're in the midst of that journey. But it was really great to see a Fusion kid walk through our doors, start working out with Katie, start practicing his magic in between sets and reps.
Mhm.
And for me, that is like the peak expression of what you and I are going to be doing together. Um, in the future. So this is really exciting. I'm really looking forward to
Yeah.
this.
Yes, likewise. Yeah, absolutely.
I love it. Well, Kendall, thank you for your time. Last question. If you
Yes.
could leave a message, right, to any of our parents who may be thinking about fusion as an option, what would it be? Like, what is the big differentiator with fusion, and why should they really start to explore this as an option? Maybe if they have a kid who's struggling socially, not really finding their place, what would be that message to potential parents?
I think for us, the kids who come here who need us, the transformation is monumental and can be very swift because when a child is in a one to one environment and their individual needs, whatever they may be, are actually being accommodated for, they're able to thrive because
Hmm.
in no setting that a student has been in previously that hasn't worked, it's not typically because of a lack of capability. It's because those needs are not being met. And so, as soon as we're able to do that for an individual student, they transform academically and socially. Their confidence, builds immediately, and their self advocacy skills and advocating for their own learning needs becomes a part of their day to day. And so they
Hmm.
become very accustomed to speaking up for what they need to thrive.
Hmm.
So I think that's what differentiates us and what really our mission is, which is to develop the whole person and not just the
Hmm.
academic side of the person. And I think it really leads kids to a future that's successful for them because they build those really vital skills that we need as adults.
Right? I wish there were schools like this around when I was a kid.
Yes,
Would have changed
exactly.
my trajectory. I think I
We
ended
hear
up in
that
the
a
right
lot. Yeah.
place. Yeah.